You may have thought shingles was a rare disease, mostly affecting older people, but the truth is it will affect 1 in every 3 people in any age group, and it's incredibly painful. Dr. Kassam is here to break down some of those misconceptions about shingles and what we all need to do to avoid it, if you haven't had it already like me. We were talking about that. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, that is one of the things, and I wanted to talk about this because, as I mentioned off the top of this half hour, I have 2 friends right now in their early 40s. They both have shingles. And it's not that unusual to see it in younger people.
It's not, no. So shingles is a painful skin rash that is the same virus that causes the chickenpox. And so in order to get shingles, you need to have already had the chickenpox before. And the reason is that the virus actually hides in nerve cells, and it actually is reactivated at a later point, which is what causes the reaction.
Yeah, so we're looking at how common is shingles. 30% of adults will get it. The older you are, the more likely you will get it. 50% of people older than 85 will get shingles. Young people can't get shingles, which is really the point of this conversation.
Totally. You know, it's shingles itself is, as we know, it's painful, and we don't really know why certain people get it and certain people don't. What we do know is that there are certain at-risk patient populations. So, for example, if you have chronic diseases like cancer, HIV, chronic lung and kidney disease, you're at a higher risk. So we know that you can get shingles at any point after you've had the chickenpox, so it doesn't really matter about your age.
Can you get shingles from shingles?
So
like if somebody that was beside me that had shingles, can I get shingles?
So if you've already had shingles,
yeah,
you can get it again, but you can't get it. So if you haven't had chickenpox, you'll get chickenpox from someone who has shingles. So that's kind of how it's a bit confusing, but that's how it works.
And also, we see all those ads on TV targeting people over a certain age, 50, 60, whatever it is, to get a vaccination.
Yeah.
How effective is that vaccination?
So it really depends on the vaccine itself. So there are 2 vaccines that are currently approved by Health Canada. The first is called Zostavax, and that's approved for people over the age of 60, although it can be used for people over the age of 50, and it's a one-time vaccine. The newer shingles vaccine is called Shingrix, and it's approved for people older than 50 years of age. This is a bit of a game changer because it's actually 90% effective against the shingles now. So that's kind of what makes it more new and effective.
So I'm looking at, you're saying approved for people over the age of 50, but what about younger people? I mean, should they be getting vaccinated?
They can't get vaccines.
You can't?
No, it's not approved. It hasn't been studied for a younger population. So these vaccines are only for people older than 50 or 60, depending on the type of vaccine.
So that's really interesting. So there's a pocket that, my friends and myself Ben was talking about the fact that he also had shingles, that we're just sort of rolling with it. There's nothing we can do necessarily.
There's nothing that you can do actively other than leading a healthy lifestyle. So eating well, getting good exercise, getting good sleep, trying to make sure that you're doing all the things that you're able to do to be healthy. But there's no active prevention other than the vaccines, and of course those again are only for certain segments of the population.
Let's say you get the shingles. What is the course of treatment?
So it really depends on the symptom timeline. So within the first 72 hours of getting shingles, antivirals are very good at treatment. But after that 72-hour window, we know that those antivirals don't work anymore. And
I'm going to just back you up a little bit. During that 72-hour window, what would you be looking for? How would you be feeling if you
So you'd feel a little bit of sensation on your skin. Sometimes you would notice this rash develop, so vesicular areas. Often it can be painful. So that's kind of what should be tipping you off, and it's usually in a certain area on the skin. So because it's what's called dermatomal, meaning it carries a certain area on the skin, which is very defined. So it usually doesn't break that dermatomal pattern.
I'd have to say, like when mine kicked in, it looked like a bit of a spider bite, as Ben was talking about, but there was this tingling sensation, as you described,
and that's
which was a bit different.
Yeah, and again, the virus attacks the nerve cells, which is what causes some of that numbness and tingling, which is why if you start having persistent pain in that area, even after the shingles has gone away, there are medications for that kind of pain in terms of nerve pain medications.
Well, thank you for the Shingles 101, Dr. Adam. Good to have you with us today.
Happy Family Day.
Yeah, happy Family Day, everybody.